to our town. Dorothy Thompson speaking to you today from the choo-choo train at the depot, the visitor center here in Richland Center, and tourism is our topic. Director Marty will bring us an update on tourism in Richland County.
We're down here at the depot, which is also the visitor center in Richland Center here on Seminary and Orange. It's a busy intersection here. And Marty Richards, the Tourism Director. All righty, tell us, get us up to speed. What's going on?
So, proper title, I'm Tourism Director for Greater Richland Tourism here in the Greater Richland area. And we get excited several times throughout the year, actually, but this time of year is particularly exciting for us because not only is this kind of the time of the year when things are really event heavy, so really, you know, the rodeo has happened. We've had a Taste of the Hills. We've had some of the night markets here at the depot. The farmers market's going full swing. We also have had the Thunderfest event, so that brings a lot of excitement to us. But also we're upcoming, of course, we have the Canyon of Lights Parade as well as all of the events that surround Center Color Fest. So we have a lot of events, but the real excitement we get in the summer is that typically in June of every year we end up getting an actual report of how our efforts are working. Are they effective? Are we getting a return on the dollar? So to kind of give you a little behind the scenes look at that, what happens as the year is going on, and really to back it up even further, starting in about 2020, we began really a concerted marketing effort, marketing the greater Richland area. We had a name change. You know, it formerly was Richland Center Tourism, but we very much became aware at that time that, wait a minute, visitors to our area, yes, they're coming to Richland Center, they're spending a lot of time here, but really they are kayaking the Pine River, which extends way beyond the limits of Richland Center, really flows through most of the county. They're coming here to fish many of our Class 1 trout streams. They're enjoying those private lodging opportunities that I'll talk a little bit more about here down the road in this episode. But also, we just have a lot of people coming to our area to disengage from the anxiety and the noise of bigger cities. So we have a 300-mile radius that we draw from, and if you took your compass and drew a 300-mile circle on a map, you would notice that encompasses Minneapolis, Milwaukee, Madison, Chicago. It even gets into like Davenport, Peoria, Rockford's in there. So there's about 14 million people who live within that circle. Now, we don't want 14 million people coming in one weekend. That would make Woodstock look like it was a garden party. So we're not doing that. Because really what they're coming here for is the quiet. And I've even had local people say, gosh, what do they see here? Well, they see the things that you enjoy every day. And you start to take it for granted unless you've traveled quite a bit and you start spending some time in urban centers. You know, our scenic views, our driftless area topography, the quietness of our area, but also the pleasantness of our scenic hills, trees, rocks, the limestone and sandstone rock outcroppings, believe it or not, are really just an attraction to those folks. So, starting in 2020, mid to late 2020, we really put together a targeted marketing campaign and have continued to grow that campaign. Along with, at the same time, where several different municipalities and townships have joined in with us in adopting the room tax, which has given us the resource to then grow that marketing campaign. So some of the things we started doing in 2020, we started our Find It Here campaign. And that is, we're using digital billboard, streaming advertising, and print marketing in those municipalities or areas that I just talked about. So the Milwaukees, the Chicagos, Minneapolis, and other large urban centers within that radius to market our area using imagery and just small words like scenic views or serenity to find it here in the greater Richland area. So we started doing that through print ads. One of the magazines that we use quite a bit that we've seen direct success from is Milwaukee Magazine. Also our digital billboard advertising. We have advertised in the Milwaukee area. We've targeted specific areas of Milwaukee where we knew that those were likely visitors to our area that were interested in outdoor exploration. And then we also have done that now this year in Chicagoland. So northwestern Chicago, we've been using digital ads in those areas to get our message out as well. And then last year, we started streaming advertising. And by that, we are actually targeting our ads to people in specific areas of Milwaukee and Chicago that we know, and through the analytics of the online world, and it gets a little big brotherish, I'll be honest, and it's a little scary sometimes, but we can pinpoint very likely visitors who will come to our area for outdoor experiences. They're interested in outdoor experiences. They're interested in fishing, hunting, kayaking, hiking, rural living, things like that. And we target them to where on their connected devices to Wi-Fi, so TVs, smart TVs, their phone, their computer, we're targeting our ads directly to them. Now, we started doing that last year, and then we've also, of course, our social media campaign. Our social media campaign on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram has been going on now since 2020. It's kind of gained steam as we went on. That has been very fruitful with growth in our followers, and we can see it also in engagement. YouTube is a really funny story because with all the videos we were doing, we didn't want to lose them, so as a warehouse, we started putting them out on YouTube and just holding them there. We weren't pushing anything, we weren't really messaging, we were just holding them. And we've noticed lately that growth in YouTube is really starting to ramp up to where we've got a couple thousand followers on YouTube that we really didn't know was, quite honestly, we didn't concertedly push, but is now starting to pay dividends. So, how do we know this is all working? That's the tail of the tape, right? Are we just yelling into the wind, or are we really pushing the needle on encouraging visitors that wouldn't normally have known of us or hadn't known of us to come visit? So the first thing we have two predictive indicators that kind of tell us what's happening, and that is number one, anecdotal evidence of talking to tourism-related businesses. So I'll routinely go talk with some different tourism-related businesses in the area. Any dining establishment or entertainment establishment is a good place to start. And when I talk to, and how they know is many of them use point-of-sale devices. So when they make a sale and people pay with a credit card, they know the zip code that they came from. So when I talk with those, it's very common that they'll say 65 to 70% of their whole business comes from out of the area. And I know at the Starlight 14, when I talk with Tony Johnson, one of the proprietors and really the managing partner there, when I talk with him, he says, yes, absolutely. Their out of area business is high to the point of it's 65 to 70% of his business all summer long. And what's nice is, the Starlight 14 has kind of mirrored what's been happening with overall tourism in the area, because as we've seen their growth with revenue and visitors enjoying that experience, we're also seeing it on our end overall, to where that's a common destination and an indicator of what's happening. So they have seen nice growth since 2020, and overall in the area we've seen nice growth. Another predictor, not just anecdotal evidence, is looking at website traffic. So for Greater Richland Tourism, we can see where people are coming from, how many are looking at our website. And just to look at my numbers for a minute, in 2018, 2019, we finally had a really nice website. They did a great job of getting a very serviceable and connecting website together. In all of 2019, we had 15,379 visitors that came, checked out richlandcentertourism.com, looked at the different offerings there. So those were interested people checking out what was happening in our area, should they come visit or not. In 2020, that number, it kind of stayed flat, and it was at 15,835. There was small gain, but that was before we were really doing the marketing campaign. So in 2021, that is when the wheels on our marketing campaign really kicked in. We started doing social media at that point, and we just started with the print ads and a little bit of digital campaign as well. And in 2021, our website traffic increased to 20,223 visitors that year to our website. Now in 2023, that's when we really saw a jump. We saw a little jump in 2022. It was 28,457, so 8,000 more visitors in 2022 came to the website. But 2023 was an important year for us, because that's when we started to see the results of a couple of things. Number one, we had a brand new website. In 2023, beginning really at the end of 2022, we rolled out our current website. We really got our marketing campaign together in that we changed the name to Greater Richland Tourism to really reflect the area and the fact that we were marketing the opportunity of everything within the Greater Richland area. And quite honestly, that can extend beyond the county boundaries. It's what we do is we look at what are the activities and events that visitors to our area are likely to enjoy, but yet stay overnight in those areas or townships where we have short-term rentals that collect the room tax and remit it to us. So 2023 was the big year for us, where we started to see, wow, this is making an effect, and this is a big deal. In 2023, our website traffic increased to 45,688 visitors. That was over a 60% increase just in that 1 year. Now this year, one would expect, well, you're continuing that marketing campaign, it's grown a little bit, should see some result from that. We are definitely seeing some result when we look at our website traffic this year at the end of July. So the end of July this year, just a couple weeks ago, we actually matched all of the website traffic that we had seen in all of the previous year. So we had 46,783 visitors to our website this year by the end of July. In the month of June alone, we had 11,000 visitors to the website. Now, a question's been asked by one of our commission members, and it was a great question. These are all good indicators, but does it truly show us the picture? Are people, or more visitors, more guests coming to the area? Are they checking us out, spending dollars here, and really helping boost our income of the area? And the way that we measure that, there actually is a way, and that is checking the direct visitor spending in our area. Fortunately, every year that report comes to us from Wisconsin Tourism and the Department of Revenue from the state. They look at every county in the state and they check it out and say, hey, what was the spending last year by looking at the direct visitor spending. And direct visitor spending looks specifically at certain sectors. So recreation, retail, food and beverage, lodging is included in there as well. In some areas, so like say transportation of gas, gas stations, convenience stores, it's only a percentage. But that matrix never changes, or that calculation never changes. It's the same every year. So that's how they measure that. And when we look at that statewide report, when we look from 2020 until this year annually, the spending in our county by visitors has increased every year almost by $10 million up to this year. So direct visitor spending in Richland County just from 2022 increased 6.6%. So from 2022 to 2023, direct visitor spending in Richland County alone increased 6.6%. It increased to over $27 million in that given year. Now, how does that compare, or is that a big increase? Last year in 2023, Richland County led 59 other counties in the state in percentage of increase in traveler spending. And even closer, when we look next to us, bordering counties, our increase in direct visitor spending, Grant County, so we were at an increase of 6.6%. Grant County was at an increase of 2.1%. Vernon County actually had a reduction. Their visitor spending went down 1.3%, and in Crawford County they had an increase of 0.4%. So in our area with somewhat comparable counties, we're really showing some real positive marks off from the work we're doing to market the opportunity here directly to our visitors. Now, what do we attribute that to? When I talk to my advertising execs that I'm working with, of course, they want to take credit for that. And they say, yep, absolutely, it's because you're doing streaming advertising with us. Or, no, it's the print advertising you're putting in Milwaukee Magazine. And I think we all better hold back the enthusiasm on that. I think there are a lot of things at play that we're seeing happen. The marketing campaign, absolutely, we can directly correlate the work we're doing in the marketing campaign and the improved website with the growth. That is part of it, because that's where people are checking us out first. But really, I think a big piece of it is when people get here, they need to be able we need to make sure that they are enjoying an experience that, number one, they enjoy while they're here. Number two, they're going back and telling others about. And number three, they return back a second time to enjoy again. And we do have, I think we really need to give a lot of credit to those tourism-related businesses that exist here, because they were here and are giving the visitors the experience they like. Because it's obvious to me, because I'm meeting people who have been here not just once, but they've been here 2, 3, 4 times, even some to where it's starting to become, nope, we go to the greater Richland area once a year to get away, relax. We like to go, it's very typical, they like to go kayaking. So the Pine River and all the work that Pine River Paddle and Lube, Mark McCauley, his wife Pam, the work they've done. Also, there were others before them that also did a lot of work to make that navigable. The Friends of the Pine LLC, or the 501c3, they've done a lot of work to make it navigable. Wild Hills Winery has done a great job of offering new events there and a new experience that people are enjoying. Eagle Cave is another one. Wes and his family have done a great job at Eagle Cave of offering new experiences, new lodging there. I think our lodging partners really deserve a lot of credit. And I know we're sharing some of that B-roll with you, just some of the imagery of the unique experiences. So people are coming here and they are finding some really comfortable or unique lodging that not only is just a comfortable experience for them, but it's unique in that it brings the outdoors into them, or there are outdoor spaces that they're enjoying. And so we are very fortunate in our area that we do have quite a few private lodging experiences that are very enjoyable to those potential guests. They're seeing it online. That's part of our advertising campaign that we've been using through social media and now through our streaming advertising. I know also this time of year I think of some of the events we have with Center Color Fest. A lot of visitors really enjoy that. I wasn't aware of this. I learned this my second year in. The Richland County Fair is actually an attractor of people from urban centers. They actually enjoy going to a rural county fair. It's a feeling they get that they really get nowhere else, and I understand that. You know, I've been at Summerfest.
Oh.
Let me tell you, the crowd at Summerfest changes when the sun goes down. That's a different experience, right? The music acts are awesome. They're still great. The food's still great, but the environment changes.
And the state fair, I've never been to it, but that's not for everybody.
It's not. It's a crowded. It's very exciting. There's a lot of energy. I enjoyed it when I was younger. As I get older, I'm a little, maybe not as much. But it's a daytime event for me now. So, you know, when the sun goes down in those urban centers, some of those experiences change.
Right.
When you come to the greater Richland area, they don't. They're the same event. Whether the sun's up or down, it's actually, with our dark skies, when the sun goes down, then there's another experience that they get to enjoy here, and that's just looking at the stars. We get routine comments from visitors who I've heard this more than once, where they said, your stars seem so close here. Well, what it is we just have minimal light pollution. So they're able, especially on some of our lodging options where there's no light out in the rural areas, they can see things in the heavens they have never seen before. So we really are fortunate. You know, there's other businesses, you know, Kuwaitan Farms and Driftless Music Gardens through Driftless Curiosity. Kuwaitan Farms has offered some great experiences. Chicken Ridge Farm this time of year, I know, gets amped up with the fall, as well as Oakwood Fruit Farm, who's been here for many years and has become an attraction of its own. And the family, the Lewis family and the Alvin family, have done a great job there. Galaxy Skate Center, you know, Phil's done a great job of modernizing, keeping things in great shape there, as well as, you know, the bowling alley here. And I already mentioned Tony at Starlight 14 doing a great job of modernizing. So when they come, you know, there are great experiences to be had. And while those of us who are local think, wow, what's so exciting about that? It's because it's always here for us. We don't have to go searching.
Right.
For the folks that are coming here, there is a nostalgic feel to many of the offerings we have that is very much an attraction for them when they get here. So, and I better mention the Pine River Trail, the bike trail. This year, the Pine River Trail has had a lot of attention paid to it, and the Richland County Highway Department deserves some real credit for that. There's been material put down. It's really been graded nicely, and things are really in top-notch shape to where when we had a lot of rains, it was still in great shape. So, like I said, why are people coming, or are they coming? Number one, yes, they are. We've got proof of that. We can see it through our website growth, the traffic growth. We can also see it in past, as the years have gone on, how visitor spending here is continuing to increase at a pace that outpaces our visiting counties. So we know we're onto something. We know that the message is working. And we also know by talking to those guests and visitors that are here, it's not a one-time deal. They're coming back in repeat trips.
Well, orchards have been a tourist attraction, you know, for generations, even if they didn't think of themselves as that. We have my parents used to have friends up in Appleton. They would come to visit. They would take them to Primo Orchard, because I don't think there were a lot of orchards in Appleton back in the 60s and 70s.
Right.
And they loved it. You know, hand sorted
And over time, you know, there's been consolidation in that market as well. There's actually fewer orchards now
Yeah.
than there were in the 80s. I mean, I can remember in the 80s when we did have more orchards.
Yeah.
And so even in our area, you know, there are fewer opportunities, but those that exist have understood we're not just growing apples or grapes or pears now. We are providing a guest experience. And so they have now expanded that to where when they come, there are going to be more opportunities to spend more time and to have an experience that they wouldn't normally have had. I also need to mention, I had talked earlier how we do market things that may not be exactly in Richland County. That's why we're called Greater Richland Tourism, because there are some great guest experiences that lie just outside of those boundaries. And you will see us market English Prairie Distillery quite a bit. And they're
Yes.
doing a phenomenal job of
That
really
was
having...
really good for Muscatine.
Yep.
Much needed.
They're doing a great job of a guest experience there as well. And then branding, I will mention the Branding Iron Roadhouse in Lime Ridge.
Yes.
Some of their open mic nights, you're getting recording artists showing up and folks who have recorded in the past. And it's really, I mean, there's some quality entertainment there
Yep.
that they do on their open mic nights. So, and everything I'm mentioning, I've thrown a ton of things at you here, but what I would say is if you go to greaterrichlandtourism.com, we have a calendar of events where you can see the events that are happening. We try to keep that current at all times. Sometimes we get a little bit behind when we get busy, but we do catch up. We get everything in there, and I would hope always within 2 weeks we've got everything on there. But then also you can see the lodging options, the unique lodging options.
There are many more, I guess I'll call them Airbnbs.
Yep.
I'll just call them lodging. There are many more than I thought. Now, do they all advertise though?
So really the only way, well, first I would say is that if you want to find a specific one or one that's a partner with Greater Richland Tourism, meaning that their township is collecting room tax, I would encourage that you go right to the greaterrichlandtourism.com website again.
Okay.
So if you go to the greaterrichlandtourism.com website, you'll see a lodging category. If you go in and you check out those, we encourage that you do check those first. The only, and our traditional motels are marketed there as well. And we're very fortunate in the area. We have a couple of traditional motel stays that have done a really nice job of upgrading their properties.
Right.
So the Ramada Inn has put a lot of work into that to where they're very nice rooms, appointed really well now. Also the Parkview Motel has done a nice job. Bob and Holly put a lot of work into that property and have really upgraded everything. So traditional stays are your thing. Those are really good options that you'll find on the Greater
With a
Richland
great
Tourism
restaurant down at the
website.
Ramada.
The La Frachanga website or restaurant is an awesome opportunity
Yeah.
as well. You're right. But if you're looking, then if your desires to stay at a smaller, private, rural stay, you can see those, some of those, at the Greater Richland Tourism website under lodging. But also, you can just go to the Airbnb platform. And what I would suggest, if you don't want to get another app on your phone, you don't have to. You can actually go to their website on a browser, airbnb.com, and just search the Richland area, Richland Center area, and your dates, and all of them that are available will pop up. So that is another way to see those as well.
Okay.
But I would just say that is ever evolving. I can tell you in 2018, and I own private Airbnb lodging accommodations that we offer. And when I was considering that in 2018, we checked Airbnb and there were 11 properties offered in Richland County. I can honestly tell you at this time that number is closer to 70 to 80 depending on the seasonality, as well as some come on, some come off. It just depends on the time of year and where different owners are at in their plans. So just understand, you may go to see a property that maybe you stayed at previously, maybe it's not there anymore, and there may be a good reason for that. But we are somewhere between 70 and 80. And to any hotel proprietor that either currently has a hotel in town or might want to build one, we did have a recent study. The City of Richland Center did a study, and they uncovered, because of our increased visitor traffic, we are about 50 hotel rooms short. And we could stand to have more hotel rooms in Richland Center or in the area. So I'd encourage that folks consider that, and would think about that as a business opportunity. But all signs for the greater Richland area are very positive. We have a lot of interest of potential visitors coming here. Those businesses that are located here that are tourism related are doing very well. And we have all indications with the growing number of inquiries and looking into our area that trend will continue. So we just have a lot of optimism. We can see direct results of positive things happening, and just looking forward to the future here and growth in the tourism related businesses of the greater Richland area.
Well, I could come back every week and do this. There'd always be something new. How about, next September, October? But
yeah. Well, and one thing I would say, we do know that there is a plan to add a typical bed and breakfast, or a traditional bed and breakfast in a beautiful home right here in Richland Center. That will, have to have some news about that when that gets actually functioning and that business venture gets launched. But I know that that's well underway, and that licensing is happening, and marketing plans are getting developed as well. So yes, we've got a lot of optimism and a lot of new ventures coming our way that we'll certainly be interested in sharing with you in the future.
Well, good. Well, thank you, Marty Richards.
You bet. Thanks for having me, Ben.
Well, enjoy this good weather and make plans now for things that are coming up the end of the summer, like the Richland County Fair and the Viola Horse and Colt Show. And we hope you'll come back next week and every week to watch our town.